Okay, calling the meeting to order officially, and as last month, since I'm attending remotely and I feel that the person presiding should be there in person, I'm therefore turning the balance of the meeting over to Amy to chair the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I believe that the first thing that we're going to do is staff recognition, and you're going to do that.
Yes, we have some work anniversaries to celebrate, and in honor of the recent opening of baseball season, I'm kind of gonna do baseball analogies for these folks so that, everybody can kind of place them. First of all, I'm just gonna walk over here, and we're gonna start, this is all alphabetical. Anne Marie Bruno has been here 15 years. Randall's in her blood. Her mother used to be the president of Friends of the Library. And kind of Anne is our utility infield. She could do anything. She works in reference when needed. She works in search when needed. She mediates patron interactions when needed in a very charming and wonderful way. And in her day job, she is a librarian at Fort Edward. So thank you, Anne Marie. On your list is Jessica Kennedy. She's been here 5 years. She's a sub in our circulation department, and she's sort of our off the bench player. She comes in when we need her. Now Jennifer, well, she's our Wade Boggs because she is full of rituals and knowledge and just can do the job. Wade, before his games, he would only field 150 ground balls, and that was part of his ritual. Fortunately for us, Jennifer can handle far more ground balls than that. She's in our circulation department, and she's in charge of our library by mail program and does a wonderful job with that. So 5 years, and here we go, Jennifer. I'll skip myself. Go to Tony La Russa, Oakland A's. And I love animals, and that's as far as I'll go. I'm not accomplished or smart with the speeches like Leo DeRosa or anything like that. We have Justin here from our IT department. Justin's our Herman Killebrew because he's quiet and reliable, and he makes the wheels turn for all our IT functions. And today was an especially stressful day. Overnight, they did a version upgrade of our automated library system. And between Justin and Steve, it was pretty smooth sailing here. There's hiccups on the other end, but not our fault. So that, and it wasn't JA's fault either. These things always have little glitches. But Harmon, thank you for 10 years of great service. Okay, and the other person that we're honoring is Carrie Ziegler. She couldn't be with us this afternoon, and she is in administration as both our volunteer coordinator when we are able to have volunteers and our graphic design PR artist extraordinaire. She's got that natural talent like Ted Williams. It's in her, and she does great things. She doesn't need coaching, right, Michelle? Right? Yeah. In fact, we've got to bring her back sometimes. But it's a pleasure to work with everybody who's getting a little bit of stipend from the Friends of the Library. I'd be remiss to not thank them for their generosity. And there we go.
Well, and I do want to mention the one person that we missed. I believe that was you.
That's okay. I did my
I'm not a baseball fan or don't know very much about it, so I'm just going to say you've been doing an excellent job. Thank you very much.
You're dismissed if you want.
That was it. No dance. Is there any public comment? And I believe that the correspondence is going around.
It's in the yellow folder, yeah.
Yeah, you can just pass that around. Oh, you.
I think it's going this way.
No, she
No,
was
it's-
to me, but you got here and
Oh,
then
I
I was
see.
afraid you could have
Got
it.
it. Thank you.
And now, we can do department reports. When?
Do you want me to go to the microphone?
Yes, if you could,
Yeah.
that would be good, thank you. And if everybody could, that would be great.
Yes, thank you.
Make this official. So we are getting ready to move ahead with Boardable, which is the board management software platform. This will be a portal to give board members and key staff at the library an easy access to all of our policies and important documents. It'll be a way to manage the board packet so that instead of getting lots of emails and PDFs and having to go back and figure out which is the correct one when things have changed, everything will be in Boardable. You'll get automated messages when things are updated. So we're gonna start the onboarding process of that soon. And as that gets a little bit further along in the process, you'll be getting an email, an automated email from Boardable. But I will also be sending emails out to you to let you know to look for it so that if it goes into your spam or that you don't get concerned and think it's spam and not click on that. And then hopefully next meeting, we will do a little live demo and we'll get to a walkthrough of how to use it. Great.
And adult services?
Jen could not be with us this afternoon.
Children's.
Julia couldn't be with us, so
Okay,
they have the
okay,
written
all
reports
right.
in. Yeah.
Okay, then, and now,
Oh, Julia, well, but, okay, sorry.
That's okay. Whatever you want. But so our big story in children's in March and April was our chick hatching project. We had a naturalist bring an incubator in, and we had a couple of Zoom programs to teach the kids about incubation and chickens. And then I think we had 11 chicks hatch, which really brought a lot of folks in to see them. And it was just really cheery in the department to hear them chirping, you know, while we're sitting there working. So that was nice. In May, we have some exciting programming things coming up, beginning our outdoor story times again next week, and Shutter Squad, as well as field trips from school groups. And we're also working on refreshing our family focus space, anticipating opening that in May as well.
thank you. Michelle?
Oh, goodness, I can't write fast enough, take minutes and do this.
Oh, sorry.
I was always sorry.
So I will be presenting later on in the evening, but I just wanted to call everyone's attention to the annual report that we handed out just now. So we always show it at the April board meeting. Once again, this year it will be virtual, but we also have it in PDF in case someone wants a print copy. The theme this year is resiliency, because as you know, we weren't completely fully open for all of 2021, but our staff was resilient and provided services to our community. So each page in here has a different highlight of what each department did, as well as our donors and our board and our community partnerships. So hope you all enjoy it. If you have any comments, please let me know.
Thanks. And Todd?
So our big project coming up is we have the New York State Folk Arts Roundtable coming to town on Sunday. And that means there's 40, 50 folklorists from all over the state coming for their annual meeting. And they decided they're going to come to Glens Falls, and they're staying at the Queensberry. And we're acting as co-host with the New York Folklore Society. And most of these folks are NISCA funded programs in various places around the state. So it's a Sunday through Wednesday program. Mostly we huddle together and plan programs and bounce ideas off each other and those kinds of things. But for the morning on Tuesday, they're coming over to Crandall and they're coming to see the Folk Life Center. And we're all hands on deck. We're gonna do a tour of the library. We're gonna have them meet in here. So I'm so glad that we're cleaning out the room finally. And they're gonna have a box lunch, out in the park and that kind of thing on Tuesday. But we'll show them the exhibit. We started to pull out little flyers to show them, the program over the years. It's that type of thing. They'll get to see the archives. They'll get to see how the reading room works. Kevin Rogan, our media specialist, will do a whole lot of presentations about how we edit our videos, and we'll have the stage set up as if we were going to have a concert and talk about how we do that. And so it should be an exciting morning, kind of action-packed. But mostly I won't be here, except on Tuesday morning because I'll be over at the Queen's Fair. So we're excited about that. It's this coming Sunday through Wednesday. Yep. It's the New York State Folk Arts Roundtable. I think we've been meeting for about 40 years. So it's a real old time group of people.
You meet annually?
Yeah, we meet annually, usually out in Syracuse, and then it got to the Finger Lakes and started kind of doing Hudson Valley. So this year they said, hey, we've never been, you've been there forever, but we've never been to your neck of the woods. So they're excited to come see Glens Falls.
Is it worth a press release? We're bringing $2,000, basically, not tourism, but.
We were thinking of doing a group shot with the drone on the front steps of the old building on Tuesday after they meet, right at lunchtime. So I think that's what we're going to do, and then we'll put it out because it's kind of a closed meeting, frankly. Right. But after the fact, I think, it would be very cool to showcase that. So
we're contributing to the economy.
He's souping up the drone so we can get a good picture.
Okay.
Was the mayor available, Todd?
I wasn't able to reach him.
Okay. And thank you, Todd. And now the facilities update, and Kathy, I think you're going to handle that, Jeremy.
Yeah, he sent the written report. The only updates I have is, last Friday, some roofing materials were delivered. They're sitting up on the roof, safe and sound. It's been slow going with the chimneys because there's more reinforcement in there than they had thought. They were able to match the bricks with some other discarded bricks from another site, so those are going to be brought in. The other building thing that is not in his written report is there's a secondary water pump for circulating our hot water to heat the building. It's a backup, but it is completely broken, and repair costs would be over the $6,000 of a new one, so we are going to be purchasing a new one. And that's what I've got for building beyond his written report.
Kathy?
Yeah.
Since Todd just reminded us about the drone, could we get some pictures of what's going on the roof as it goes, so we can see how it looks?
Jeremy he's got a ton of pictures, but are you referring specifically to the drone?
Yeah, maybe that's.
Well, yeah, Todd, nice, yeah.
I just thought that might be
Progress.
more exciting.
Yeah, and then that would be fun on the
We can
webpage
do it
too.
Yeah.
I'll ask Kevin to do it.
Okay, great, that's a good idea.
Thank you. And Friends of Crandall Library. Margaret? Anything on that?
She's muted.
Okay, I don't have any report. We did meet for the first time in March, but I didn't make the meeting. So we're in April, I'm sorry, we're in April already. I forgot what month it is. But we're meeting next week, so hopefully we'll have a report for you next time.
I will touch on, they will start to accept donated materials sometime in May.
Oh, good.
Working with them as far as getting information out there so that things are not overloaded. Books and materials would come into the front Glen Street entrance because the back is tied up with construction. They will also be creating a display book sale unit out of, we have these, what do we call them, the swoopy things. And they will be turned into stationary units where books will be available, and there's gonna be some kind of coin box for money. It's $1 for adult books, 25 cents for children's, whatever on there. Nobody's really gonna be babysitting it, but it's a good service because some people do wanna just buy on the spot. But as Margaret said, more information will be forthcoming after next week's meeting.
Okay.
And that information will be, the information regarding the date when it's available, that'll be.
Yeah, that'll be definitely, both the Friends and we will advertise it.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to need a motion for approval of the Board of Trustees minutes. This is the March 23rd meeting. Has everyone looked at that?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed without any corrections. Treasurer's report. Now, John is not here, so.
Stephanie's prepared the report out.
Okay, thanks.
For the treasurer's report, it looks like our first quarter, when we were smooth sailing, most of our adjustments or budget modifications are on the income side. We did receive 50% of the city's tax revenue of Guns Falls and all of Town Monroe's tax revenue. So to date, our total revenues amount to $3,385,058, which represents 65.2% of our 2022 budget. And our expenses seem to be riding within the 25% range. We have no budget modifications for that, those at this date. So total expenses amount to $1,133,763, which represents 21.7% of our 2022 budget. So on page 5, the 4 budget modifications that I propose that be done for the month of March amount to increasing our contingency by $2,376.99. What's
It's because you're adding something to that, you needed more in that budget line, right?
No, we budgeted for contingency $10,000. I'm giving $2,376 more to contingency for us to use throughout 2022 if we need it.
Well, where would the pump come
Where's that
out?
coming from?
Oh, building supplies. I mean, it's,
Okay.
yeah,
What would what come out of?
The pump, the water pump.
Oh,
yeah. We
yeah.
just signed, you haven't seen any of that paperwork yet.
No, we would probably take that out of equipment.
Yeah,
We budgeted
building,
for
yeah.
equipment and supplies.
Stephanie, you have a question?
Mhm.
You had mentioned 50% of Guns Falls will come up this year.
Yes.
Nothing from
Queensbury last month
That was
did,
last month.
yeah, did 100%, so they're paid all in.
That, Guns Falls usually does that.
Right. I knew that, yes.
Anybody have any other questions? If, we need a motion to accept the treasurer's report. And have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passed. And I believe that the claims auditor report was attached to the treasurer's report.
Or, yeah, it's actually in
Or
the
is
pass around
it
folder.
in the packet that's been passed around?
And per the claims auditor's report for March 15th, March 31st, there were no discrepancies.
We need a motion to accept it, to accept the claims auditor report.
So move.
And, anyone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that's passed. And I believe that Dale's not here. So there was a personnel committee report. I believe that there's an approval of a person for civil service, is that correct?
Yes, the exam was finally given after several years. And we are happy to officially welcome Librarian 1 Ann Nelson as a permanent appointment effective April 28, 2022.
I move that we approve that personnel.
I'll second that.
And then the sales report, Margaret?
Did we vote on the personnel?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, off of it.
Yes. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Okay, now Margaret.
Okay, well, the state budget passed and there was 99.6 million for library aid. And that's 3.5 million more than last year. The construction money for libraries is at 34 million, and that's includes 900,000 for SALs alone. We also approved the construction grants that were submitted. Crandall was approved for $4,250. And so that went well. The annual meeting, again, is May 16th, Monday night, 7 p.m. via Zoom. I believe invitations went out to all. Speaker is Deborah Caldwell Stone, who is the director of the Office of Intellectual Freedom, and she will be discussing book banning. And also, if you would, I urge you to join Unite Against Book Bans, which is, you can find that off of the American Library Association website, or you can go directly and just Google Unite Against Book Bans and sign yourself up, because this is a serious problem lately in America. And a lot of books have been taken off the shelves. Libraries and librarians have been challenged. And we really need to do something to stop that. So tell your friends as well. And that's it.
Thanks. And now the director's report.
Okay. To piggyback on Margaret, I can send out a link to that United Library thing, so I will do that too. Okay. First thing I wanted to touch on is those ruffians, that group that kept coming in and making trouble. They're essentially left, although twice since the last board meeting. I think it's only twice. They've done kind of run-throughs at the end of the evening or the end of the day, and just one time they just kind of stormed in, decided they weren't going to leave a bathroom, and then when they, were told to leave because we were closing, they got a little mouthy and stuff, and it was the same group. So we do have pictures of them that we could definitely take to a school, for example. But right now, they seem to be losing the thrill. Could you give me the microphone?
Are they kids?
Yeah. They're not just, but they're inappropriate. They say they're trying to get a rise out of our staff and other patrons. And I guess they're just bored. I don't really know how to get into their heads. But that's the update with that. As Margaret reported, we submitted the construction challenge grant to sales, and I'm happy to report we got it. And that, if you recall, is for some upgrades, renovation of the third floor office space and staff room. But this is going to be a long process. It's not going to be something that's going to happen probably not even this year. It'll probably happen next spring.
We are working with JMZ because they're the original architects along with Ann Bayhot of the building. But I will keep you posted on progress with that. I had to make a quick executive decision on Friday. Usually I pass on any grant requests to the board before grant submissions before a deadline, but I was contacted by Dr. Stephanie Drodas at SUNY Adirondack, and she had something up her sleeve that completely meets with our strategic plan criterion of equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. She has had a background in basically teaching English as a foreign language while in another country. She's worked with the State Department and other organizations like that over the years. This is a State Department grant that she needed some organization, local organization, to be the lead agency, the administrator on paper, but she's actually doing all the work with the exception of if we get the grant, the check would go in our bank, we'd make a line item for it and distribute it. But what it really is an opportunity for facilitators and up to 40 local residents to work with English language learners throughout the world in learning business English, if I'm understanding this correctly. We already have through SALS an initiative for electronic books that are for business oriented. This grant will allow us to supplement those books with funds that come through this grant. And they're not limited to being used internationally. They certainly can be used, and they're in English, so they certainly can be used locally as well. And all that it's going to take us is a little bit of administrative time and our in-kind time of, just discussions about this with the grant facilitator. So the grant itself is for $57,832.28. A lot of that is for setup time and a lot of it is for the implementation. None of this would take place until next year, maybe starting in late December and implementation in spring of 2023. So it's not super impactful right now, and that's very important because I'm going to get to another matter later. So I did move forward, but I made Michelle sign on the dotted line since she's a grant officer in a sense. I gave her the job of implementing this later. Read.
Let me see if I understand what you said. This is for up to 40 individuals in our local area to help them learn English better in the business.
No, they will be the English speakers helping international people learn English.
So residents like me.
If you wanted to volunteer and help, that is great.
That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, so and it would be under the guidance of, there'd be like 4 smaller groups of 10 speakers, so to speak. And they're looking to, I think, basically get, the US out there in a good way. And I think coming from a smaller community like Glens Falls, it's going to be very impactful both ways.
And she's going to be running it.
She'll be running it, yeah.
Not as the administrator from SUNY, but as a individual from the community.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's her position, her daytime job. This is her volunteer job.
Pretty much. I mean, she'll be, she and the 4 facilitators will be, what's the word? Compensated for some of their time, but it's a small portion of the overall grant. So So I'm reporting out on that, and I guess technically I'm not even asking your permission, but that's what's happening.
Good job.
Okay. I'm also working on a guest essay for the Post-Star. I talked to Bob Condon finally. We managed to stop our telephone and email tag. He is happy that we do things. He's not even looking for something from me every month or every couple of weeks. Basically, anything we need to do, anything to, talk about libraries, talk about our services, talk about the big bad world, he's up for it. And it'll be treated as a guest essay and not really an op-ed, and it's a more robust format than a letter to the editor every week or anything like that. So I'm moving forward on that. As Todd mentioned, you can see there's a lot more room in here. We were able to discard a lot of that bad furniture we talked about at the last board meeting. Either some libraries or other nonprofits took it. There were some that went to the dump today because they were just really unusable. There's a few other pieces that are squirreled away. Another nonprofit may be coming to pick some of those up. The chairs that we are sitting on now and that you at home will sit on soon are the replacements for the rigid yellow seated things. These are much easier for staff to handle. As odd as it is, they are more comfortable than the other ones. So we can have even longer meetings if you'd like. So I want to give, kudos to Jeremy and his crew for, lifting all the stuff, getting it all moved and trying to get it in shape for Todd's program, convention, whatever, this weekend. So we're getting there, and if there are some pieces left over, there's not enough to really open it up to the public like we did a couple of years ago, but we may sell any leftovers to staff for maybe $10 each or something. That remains to be seen. Earth Day, we had a very successful Earth Day. Kudos to Michelle and Raquel, who is in our children's department, for their appearance on Channel 10, advocating the ecological framework of why you should recycle your electronics. And really big thanks goes out to Steve Ray, our head of IT. It was his idea to have the recycling guys here, but it turned out it was him all day. We get 17 pallets worth of electronics. They will, the company that recycles will get back to Steve on the actual salvage weight of all the electronics, and everything was coming in from cell phones to, I don't know, Todd, you're a music guy. What's the thing that it's long and skinny with a lot of dials, and there's one of them under
a mixing board.
Yes, that's it. A mixing board came in, so, and everything in between. So it's a really good event. There was a lot of, traction on the social media of, I didn't know about it. We advertised it, it was out there. But, that's not such a bad thing because clearly, we were filling a need, which is good.
I saw a picture somewhere, was that the Post-Star?
There was a Post-Star picture, I think, and.
Will it be in the annual event?
I'm not sure. I will have to say, we do pay the company to take it away.
Okay.
So we got to see what
Understood.
the final bill is. It's a good it's a good thing, and it's not to say we can't budget for it every year, but we do know Earth Days every year, so. Okay. Two more quick things. We do have, it's not in the board packet, I just want to give you a heads up. There is a workers' comp claim being paid out right now for a fall and broken hip at the outside book drop. We're still working with Warren County Workers' Comp on some of the details. It's a fair claim, but I just wanted to alert the board to this.
The one out front or
The one out back.
Is this a patron or?
No, a staff member. Yeah.
How's the staff member doing?
She was well enough to be in a car today and visit. She did break her hip and she did have surgery. But she wants to come back, and if we need to make any accommodations for her, we certainly will. She'd be back yesterday if we let her, but that's not gonna happen. So that being said, I think right now, frankly, our biggest challenge is COVID fatigue. And I don't mean it in the sense of that clinical term that some people are suffering from after they caught the virus and kind of got well. We are struggling to have staffing here. The other day, there were 3 people out of 9 available in our reference department. Subs weren't available, and one of those 3 people included our assistant director, Gwen, who has stepped up admirably to, fill in desk shifts. So we are, every department has been affected in one way or the other. Either somebody's gotten sick, or there's been the need to quarantine with family. We're going by the instructions that Warren County Health gives to staff, or if they live in Washington or Saratoga County, their recommendations. So, it's a bit of a struggle. We see the other side, but everyone who works here is exhausted. And I want the board to be aware of this. I'm not complaining, it's not an observation, it's a factual event. And I think everything we can do to ease circumstances, we're trying to do. We are not at any, let's see, what's part of the other issue is that little joke we were saying earlier about civil service and tests and available people. That hasn't been happening. They're in the midst of some of this too. So the cavalry isn't coming yet. We're offering a level of customer service that is still very high. But staff understand it's not ideal. And that probably is grating on people even more than just filling in. There's no simple solution to this. There's no magic wand any of us can wave. But I think it was very important to me to tell you what the bottom line is right now.
But isn't that true throughout the whole community that we're not?
Absolutely, we're not alone. Yeah. No, it's ubiquitous. Absolutely.
Kathy, I just wanted to ask, what has basically everything returned to as it was 2 years ago?
With the exception of programming and also our evening hours. We are only open till 7. Okay. And we don't have Sundays. But frankly, after 5, there's very, very little. I mean, Gwen keeps track of the hourly counts, and
it drops pretty significantly from
after
last.
Yeah, I mean, our mornings usually have the most. And certainly last week was fairly busy with school vacation week. People were in, people were happy. People are attending events, like when we have stuff out on the lawn, and we'll be returning to indoor activities in May. But it's, it's like everyone else in the world, we all have to adjust. But I think, given the, I sound kind of crazy here, giving the psychological makeup of staff, because they're all helpers and they all want to do the right thing, I think it's been doubly exhausting for people.
And not for-profit workers, that's
Yeah.
the world they inhabit, and you need to give them permission to, I completely hear what you're saying. I
Yeah.
had 3 people on vacation last week, and then I had 2 people with COVID on top of that.
Yeah.
So, and you can't do anything about it, you just gotta.
Right, and it would be worse to deny like vacation request, that kind of stuff. People need relief and however they get it.
And they need permission to understand that none of us are operating at 100% of our capabilities.
But I would, offer this up to Gwen and see if she agrees or not. I believe we've been, supervisors, managers have certainly been granting that permission. But the idea to do good, to do great is so internalized, it is wearing very hard on some people, less hard on others, but everybody's different. Would you agree, Gwen?
It's hard for some people to let go of giving 100%. 95% is like just not in most of our makeups. I absolutely agree.
Read.
I was like this too, why don't we make it I don't think we're any laws we have to stay up with so much. Maybe take 1 day off a month for everybody just to regroup. And just so if you're, so everybody gets a chance everybody as a team gets to, and maybe just 1 day a month until things get better. And I think the other thing I think you were saying is the civil service is behind the 8 ball or not giving us the opportunity to restaff, and that just adds to all the snowball going down the mountain.
Yeah, and I know for a fact they're down 2 key people just in the last month that were unexpectedly gone. So they're that hamster on a treadmill too.
I mean, I'm just curious what the other board, maybe, what does the other board members think of maybe giving the staff 1 day a month, just to maybe just so they feel recharged, they feel exhausted.
You mean give them an extra day off
Yeah, 1 day, take 1 day.
You mean like close on a Friday or something?
Friday or something like that. Yeah, yes. Some, whatever works, yours.
Yeah.
Just if we need to recharge our staff. I don't know.
I think that's something that the management team can discuss, and I am assuming that's a paid day off.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because that will be asked.
Well, I think part of the question would be the scope. Are you talking 1 month, or what are you referring to? I mean, workers also get disillusioned when they see no light at the end of the tunnel. Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah.
Is it expected to get better in the next few months?
Yeah, I mean.
What's the sub situation like?
It's very narrow. There's not very many people out there.
Who are because they're basically, I know a few retired librarians who come in and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just basically from that sort of pool, or is there a way to grow that? I know that there would be training.
They need to be if we're going to use them for any significant amount of time, they need to be on that civil service.
What's the key word significant? What's that mean?
It varies by position, honestly, Reed. And also the amount of time that it may take to train in any department may preclude,
That might drain all the last energy you have.
And, it's a lot of time and effort to train up to a level that people need to be trained. And frankly, in several departments, we don't have the resources to put forth for that. It's more than shadowing and stuff. Even if someone is a trained circulation clerk from another library or a trained librarian from another institution. Believe me, we have, gone through every permutation of how do we get relief in this situation.
Kathy, would there be any impact? I mean, you guys were saying that you've been watching your numbers and after 5 o'clock things significantly drop off. Maybe going backwards, but you look at maybe only staying open till 5 for a few months.
The problem with that is, as a central library, we need to meet New York State standards. And when was it, Gwen, last summer?
Yeah, it went.
They determined that, no, everything's fine, everybody needs to, meet their required minimum number of hours. So we can't play with that too much. So.
I think you're gonna have to have that same problem with the day off too.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I'm not looking for solutions. I like the brainstorming we're having right now. But of everything I reported out on, this is the most important and crucial thing. Any
Yeah, there's a couple of
further?
action items.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the normal trustee petition drive for the election in November. And also, Todd, anything of note about the obsolete library records destruction?
I forgot about that. No, it's like old invoices and timesheets. We follow a manual from New York State. When we can throw them out, it's every 6 years. I didn't do it last year, so just put it in.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, so we'll need a motion and a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor of those two action items? And is there any old business? And new business, we are updating the bylaws. This is something that we just, Kathy and I have spoken about. And
Barb.
And Barb, and it's the last revised copies of the bylaws were in 2018, so it was adopted in 2018, so it's time, and there's several things to look at. At this point, though, we do need volunteers for an ad hoc committee for updating the bylaws.
And ideally,
Anybody?
we'd have it
Diane?
across
Sure.
all 3 communities.
Anyone else?
Somebody raise their hand over there.
Okay.
That's
Barb.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we just, we'll go from there. And the next thing is we do need to go into executive session to talk about an item regarding the Henry Crandall Award.
Yeah.
So, what?
Julia, you're free. I remember that you're here, so.
Who motioned and who seconded?
Need more minutes.
Any motions?
I'll make go to the next.
Second, anyone? Okay, thank you.
Seconded.
Oh, there's executive session. I'm a rookie here, you guys gotta work with me.
That's the hardest thing, is to try to be part of the meeting again.
It is. Okay, so we're in executive session now.